Hello, this is Phyllis White. I'm Lew White, and we're filming this in 2021 during a 7-day period called Sukkoth. And there's an 8th day that is a celebration too, and it's kind of important. Now, what are we doing this for?
We're doing this to remember Yahushua.
Yeah. And you can think of all the places in the scriptures where you hear the Feast of Tabernacles. Well, it's actually a festival that's the most joyous of all, and it's about a marriage supper is what it really points to, because we're going to be regathered, and during the Millennium, after Yahushua returns, you're going to find that everyone on earth will be enjoined to celebrate Sukkoth. They're not doing it right now. Israel didn't do it for over 900 years, if you read Nehemiah chapter 8. But Zechariah chapter 12 through 14, if you read all of it together, it's all about the tribulation and the nations that come against Jerusalem and Jerusalem. And then after Yahuah slaughters them, and it says something about their eyes will decay in their sockets. The armies that are coming against Israel, or, the nation. And the nations that survive, we're probably not talking about adults, but they will be reproduced human beings, but probably from the children of the nations that were innocents, that were not really there attacking Yahuah's people. And he's going to grow the nations back, and there'll be human beings again, just a few, because it's only going to be a small number of human beings.
But I do have a question. People, it's important to observe Sukkah the best that we can, but we're not in the land. And he said, don't do it anywhere that you choose, but do it in the land. Why can't we do this in the land?
Deuteronomy 4 says something very interesting, because even the house of Yehudah, when they returned from the captivity of 70 years, and Nehemiah and Ezra and everybody was assembled reading the Torah, they realized, and it made them real sad, because they hadn't celebrated this festival, this joyous festival, for over 900 years. From the days of Yahushua, they called Joshua, to that point, they had not ever heard of it. And so there's a period of time that the nations haven't ever heard of it either, but they should be, because Deuteronomy 4 says that when all these words come upon you in the last days, and you hear them, and you begin to turn and obey them, in all the places where Yahuah scattered you, you're going to do it where he scattered you, so that the neighbors in the neighborhood see things like this Sukkah, and they wonder about it. They go, oh, what is that? We're getting ready for the future. This is not just about the past, and the tents that we lived in after we escaped from Pharaoh. It isn't just about that. It's about the marriage supper of the Lamb. And that's the exciting point. And you learn these things by obeying the commandments, and inside the commandments, this is the way you'll learn. Walk in it, and you'll learn. If you don't obey, you're not going to learn anything. But we're happy.
I heard some tidbits about, or there's been tidbits discussed about Yahushua's relationship, and that he may have been born on the first day of Sukkah, and then on the last great day he may have been circumcised. What do you think about that?
Well, that is what I've always understood from Scripture. However, it's a veiled thing. And there are other teachers that say, no, lambs are always born in the spring. Well, it's not about animals, it's about Yahushua. And the last great day is the 8th day. And that's when Yahushua was circumcised.
Then there was one other question that I hear from time to time about whether or not they're actually going to see the full moon on the first day of Sukkot, and why sometimes you can't see it on the first day of Sukkot because the moon might be a little bit behind or a little bit in front of the 15th day of the month.
The full moon occurs all over the earth at the same time. However, sunset doesn't, and that's the difference. That's why people look up and they've got a whole 24 hours, and it might not be right at their sunset that the thing is full. But Yahuah's bringing the two houses together into one household, one stick, one tree, and we're going to be united, and we're not going to be divided anymore. Ephraim and Yehudah are going to be joined together into one household again. Anyway, Sukkoth. Oh, that looks nice.
A frond from our...
Yes, and that was nice and fresh a few days ago. See, we're in the midst of Sukkoth, Tabernacles.
Why did he tell us to cut the fronds of the willows?
And the leafy trees, and
so that we can watch them
get old.
See, they're getting old.
Yeah, and I've always wondered about that. I know that our bodies individually begin to age, and during the 70 years of our, generally, what we have to live, our bodies change and age. Things start looking different, and our whole household, which this pictures, our older relatives, or even younger relatives that happen to perish. But our uncles and aunts, our brothers and sisters and our parents, they start crying up and falling off. And that's another teaching from living in the commandment. Isn't this great?
It's a beautiful day for Sukkah. I hope you all are able to enjoy your Sukkah outside.
Now remember, the household that we're going to be regathered to for the bride is going to be for a select number of people, and the first fruits are going to be invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb, and that's what this is all about, his household. So join us. We're called Natsarim. Yahuah said, I am the vine, and you are the Natsarim. Ani hagafen atah ha-Natsarim. Baruch haba Hashem Yahuah.
Bye-bye.